So now I've changed the line thicknesses. I'm going to select everything. And I'm going to go down here to this cross here. And because it's the fill, because I've not got shift down, if I got shift down, it will the line type, it will remove. So it's removed. There we go. Now we've got three different colours, two different colours. You could change one of these if you wanted to do a colour. So now I need to export this page. And it's going to say it wants to export page 2, so you've got to untick that. Now I'm going to put it on my machine here in documents. We'll call it page 1A, and we're going to save that. So that's saved, that's exported a scale vector graphics drawing. So now what I'm going to do now, there's lots of different ways of creating your G code. So I'm going to create G code I can flirt off to my machine. I'm going to use Atom Stack Studio because it's free. And I don't need to be connected to the machine to create the G code. So I'm going to start that up. So here we have Atom Stack Studio. Simple. We don't need to do anything. File, import, page 1A. There we go. So as we can see, we have already got our setting, our line. So that's the line on the outside. Yeah, so it's highlighted that. So that's the outside. So I want to move that so I can reposition that so it cuts the inner first. So the first one, I've done that wrong. Yeah, I've done that wrong. So that wants to be at the top. So it cuts, if I select that, I like that. It'll cut that first before, especially if you're using thin material, you will need to cut the inside out first, because if you don't, yeah, well, depends how thin it is, and depends if you've got air assist on. So it's a cut. So I know I run diode laser 80%. It make it last longer, in theory. It'll probably outlast me. But so I'm selecting, I'm just doing it in one cut actually. 75, it can do one cut. You can change the number of times that it cuts. So that's what processing times is. So now I can file, save G code, and I'm going to put it in there as latest. And you can see it's only 7 kilobyte. Save. Yeah, we'll replace it. So now, how do I get it to my machine? Right. Attached to my laser engraver is a Raspberry Pi running Trixie and running a program called Universal G-Code Sender, which is free, which is maintained. It's designed for CNC and lasers. So what we have to do now is, because I can't use the transfer within virtual VNC because I'm using Wayland. So I use another program, might seem a bit, but I don't want to cart my laptop round the bungalow and down the garden to my shed every time. So it's connected. So it's connected to my, these are files on my Raspberry Pi. So I go to Documents, G code, and then I can copy that drag and copy that over there. So that's overwritten the file. This is free. This doesn't cost no money. There's no money here at all. So now what I've got to do? Well, I know it's active, so I'm going to log on to. So here we have my Raspberry Pi 4, and we're going to start Universal G-Code Sender. Now, my machine's not on, so I can't connect to the machine. It's just Raspberry Pi's on. It's a Java program, so it is quick. It will run on there's a Pi 4. It will run on a Pi 3. A bit of a waste for a Pi 5, I think, but Pi 4, it should run. And here we have Universal G-Code Sender. Here we have, there it is. So it knows the firmware is GRBL. All your nearly every laser engraver cutter is language firmware is GRBL, and it's on port because it's Linux. It's a USB 0, and the board rates that. So what next? Well, you just open the file, select it, open, and it's loading the file. There we have our file, and there we see it starts from the point where you left your laser to there, round to there. So you can see that it's moving around and changing. So it's moving from there to there, there to there, then it's going to there, then to that one. Now, so it's doing the inside first, and then to get it to run, you connect, press, and then you'll see a load of captions coming up here, and press start, and your machine is going on. There will be a camera attached to this so we can watch it. But yeah, that's where I am. Those are some trusses I did for a building in Inkscape. That's my latest incarnation of my terrace house with the offshot. And you can see we've got a proper sash window where the sash sticks out. We've got a door and it's got a letterbox in. This is a photo of, that's a shed I did. That's in OO. That's in N. And it was so easy to scale down just by changing the card thickness, again the ratio. And that's my little test piece reminding me when I do the roof, minus 0.75 on the top, minus 2 on the bottom, and it fits.
About Inkscape. So first of all, what was I going to say? This Atom stack, does that cost or is that free?
Atom stack is free. As long as to create your G code, you can use that. I think that's easier than later GRBL. And you can just save your G code, and then you can put your G code into whatever software that your machine's got. I use, because the story is, it's in my shed and I don't want to walk around with my Mac every 5 minutes. So I decided I was going to sort it out, and I will get it so the machine, I'll be able to control the machine, switch on and off, and everything else with Raspberry Pi. But no, Atom Stack Studio doesn't cost any money. You don't have to have an Atom Stack machine to create the G code. You can, what Bob's shown there, you can move the layers about. You can select, you can change the color of the buttons at the bottom, and you can order it. You can create the order in which it does work. It's what Bob's shown with layers and changing the order is really important, especially with thin software. If you've got air assist and you cut the outside on a thin material, it will move it, I'll guarantee you. So you've got to cut the inside bits first before you cut the outside bits. I hope that helps.
Is to preset your page to the size of your laser cutter bed size, rather than it's all right if you've got an A4 size bed, but otherwise I always changed it to the size of the laser cutter bed to make sure it's at the right, you know, you fitted the images, you didn't have an image overlapping and getting half cut.
Yeah, yeah. I think most machines now are about 400 square, except the small engravers. I personally only work on A4. I don't see any point in working on anything bigger. And I go and position the laser manually where I want it to start, and Universal G-code sender will tell me the dimensions of what I'm going to cut. And if it shows it, if the dimensions are greater than my A4, then I'll have to go back and alter my image. But everything I've used is free, is maintained.